What's up, everybody? Welcome to the episode 10 of the College Loop podcast, where we have another guest, Mr. Wil Crews. Go ahead and shout yourself out, buddy.
Hey guys, hey viewers, listeners. Thanks guys for having me on the show. I know Harrison from previous work experience, Dylan from a pickup football game, and a little bit of work experience in the industry. And Daniel, we just met today, and besides him being a huge Red Sox fan, I saw no flaws. So,
Well, you've clearly not been looking hard enough. So,
no, but excited to be here, and hopefully I can provide some good insight for you guys.
Dylan, I heard that there's some metaphors coming our way, so I'm excited. Wil Crews is the same man that once compared Auburn football to Hamilton. So I'm telling you, dude, he's got to send you the link. It's one of the greatest articles you ever read. I will never stop obsessing over it.
Well, I haven't seen Hamilton, so.
Well, you got to watch that.
Yeah, you should probably watch that first.
Well, let me just go ahead and say it. My co-host, Harrison Tarr, as always, this is my second podcast we recorded today. And in the bottom left corner of the screen is Daniel Locke yet again. How y'all two doing?
Great.
No complaints over here.
New semester today, so looking forward to see what that has in store, and just living.
I had a fantastic day. I got to hear about people's internships and then hear from other people about trying to get them internships. My Eagle Eye TV family never leaves me. So what can I say?
All right, well, to get things started, last night Auburn basketball took down Ole Miss in a game where they refused to put Ole Miss away. They won 82-73. Gave Auburn their first SEC road game of the season, or first SEC road win of the season. There we go.
Yeah, about to say there was another game. It just wasn't one that you particularly want to talk about.
Back there somewhere. I don't want to think about it ever again.
Let's kind of go around the horn here, and I kind of didn't put this on the rundown per se, Dylan, but I think this is pretty easy. We'll start with Crews, and we'll kind of work our way around, just grading out Auburn's performance last night. If anyone gives them an A+, I'm gonna just actually drive to Auburn, Alabama right now and beat the crap out of you. So Crews, I'll let you go ahead and take the point here, unless you need some time, then I'll defer to Daniel and put him on the spot.
No, it's all right. I'm ready. And I guess I won't go A+, although I really did think it was a fantastic showing from Auburn, but I do not want to risk having to fight Utah. So
you would win.
Maybe we'll see. But I'll give them an A, a general A. Mainly because the thing that I was most impressed with was that, to me, it seemed from watching the game that Auburn won this game through their offense, and more specifically their half-court offense. To me, they looked really efficient, and shot the ball well, shot free throws well, and that's a welcome sight with previous performances usually being rather laborious and a struggle on the offensive end. And you've seen Auburn win games with their shot blocking and their defense. And surprisingly, Auburn, I think, only had one block last night. So they weren't just dominant, and they only turned Ole Miss over about 10 times, I think, as well. So it wasn't like they were just locking up the Rebels on defense, although they did play well on that end. So just simply based off the offensive outburst, really, from guys like Green, Broom, and Flanigan, I got to give the Tigers an A.
Yeah, Flanigan, there's your name, and we're going to talk about him, I'm sure. Dylan and I talked about him for a little bit earlier on the Auburn Daily podcast. Make sure you check that out after you listen to this one, or probably before, because this one comes out later. Daniel, let's hear your grading.
So before I give my grading, I just want to say it feels like a rebirth of this offense. Having 4 players put up double figures, and then at the same time on the defensive side of the ball, Ole Miss's or not just defense, everywhere. Ole Miss's whole game ran through Matthew Morrell. So once Auburn kind of figured out how to slow him down early in the second half, it was smooth sailing from there. Overall, I'm going to go with a B. The main thing I'm taking off some points for is the defense just looked very lackluster at times. And I just feel like there were some stupid plays, like turnovers and stuff, that I just can't ignore.
I don't disagree, and I'm going to kind of build off that once Dylan gives his grading. I'm being patient today, Dylan. Are you proud of me? And the dog is back.
And it's a rare sight to see. I know. Little Chihuahua really likes attention and won't leave me alone. But yeah, I think a B is a great grade to give this team. 4 players hit double digits, but we talked about it in length. I had a 4-minute rant, I know, because I cut it out so I can post it on Twitter later on the Auburn Daily show, that the bench is just so lackluster outside of Allen Flanigan. I mean, you know that Kwame Brown and Kobe Bryant meme, like they scored 84 combined points and
Yeah.
Kobe scored 81.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bench put together, let's see, around
25, I think.
25 points.
They were north of their average last night.
Yeah, but 15 comes from Allen Flanigan, who had 14
Six
more
man.
minutes, who had 34 minutes compared to the second best is Katie Johnson with 20, who has scored 4 points in 20 minutes. And then you also got to throw in 8 minutes for Trey Donaldson, had 0 points. Leor Berman, who's been shooting lights out over the last 2 games he's been in, didn't shoot last night. I mean, it's lackluster from the bench. I know the offense, yes, popped off. 49% of their shots went in last night, which is pretty good. You know, half of your shots go in. But the bench just needs some more consistency on the offensive end. When Wendell Green and Janai Broome and Jalen Williams aren't in, who is going to be the guy to step up when those 3 are out? And yes, Allen Flanigan, but who can get with them?
I'm gonna make mine kind of quick, and then I'm gonna transfer in. You just mentioned Allen Flanigan, when we've got a mailbag question actually that we're gonna get to here in a second. Crews is gonna get the opportunity to answer a mailbag question. That's fun. It's always exciting. It's only the 3rd time we've done it, so hell, welcome to the club. Believe it or not, I'm gonna sunshine pump a little more than Dylan today. I'm actually gonna give Auburn a B+, which is for those of you who know how critical I am of Auburn hoops. I think I'm being pretty damn nice. Flanigan's resurgence is a big deal, and we're going to get there here in just a moment. That was encouraging. Or in the early going, the turnover differential at one point was 6-1. Auburn on the offensive end of the floor kind of looked sloppy, and then they figured it out. It looked like they'd never practiced against the 1-3-1 before. And Kermit Davis has only been running it for like 100 years. Which was the scouting. I guess the scouting report just forgot to mention that there's only 2 defenses they run. It's the 1-3-1 and the man. That's it. They jumped into the 2-3 twice that I could count. I wasn't blown away. I was definitely pleasantly surprised by the offensive production, but it felt like there wasn't a complete game on both ends of the court. It looked like when you went down and had a great defensive possession and turned them, forced Ole Miss into one, like Crews said, only 11 turnovers, but still had a big, momentum shifting turnover. You'd go down and you just let the shot clock wind down, and then wind up having someone take an errant shot or a 3 from the damn parking lot, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm encouraged by this, and an SEC road win is an SEC road win, and as we always say, a win is a win is a win is a win. So that being said, let's kind of transition over into the mailbag question from @AU Barn Trooper on Twitter, on the Bird app, if you will. Boys, I'm going to let whoever answers first gets to just jump in. It's kind of a free-for-all here, so Crews, get ready because these guys are vicious. Is Allen Flanigan back?
Not yet.
Okay.
I need one more.
One more.
I need more than one more. I need more than one more.
I need about a month of good Allen Flanigan basketball.
Okay, I think Crews, Dylan, and I are on the same page.
Because 3 games in a row where he's at double-digit points. Just need a little bit more. And I know those are great games. Those are all great games from him. But I still want to see a little bit more consistency that we saw whenever he was a sophomore here, which seems like it was so long ago. Because last season
because it was.
Yeah, it just trudged along for him last season. I know he was out with an injury for most of it, and this season he looks healthier. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him, but maybe a 20-point game would change my mind. 20, 25 plus points,
I don't know. Crews, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I feel about like setting a points benchmark to like be sold on Allen Flanigan being back or whatever you want to say, but he definitely looks more comfortable, right? And in terms of the biggest aspect of that I've noticed is just his own ball play and his willingness to attack the rim. And that's something that Auburn really kind of needs off the ball. They need, because I mean, I don't know if I speak for every Auburn fan, but I don't think most of the fan base wants to see the ball in like Katie Johnson's hands more, the way that he attacks the rim and kind of flows to the offense.
Speak for me.
And Wendell Green is great at getting there and getting to the free throw line, yes, but he's not the best finisher. We've seen plenty of kind of Wild just finishes. Sorry, I have an animal friend also trying to join the podcast, who loves attention. She might peek her head into the corner.
We welcome that.
We need more solid, consistent performances. I think consistency is the biggest thing for this Auburn team as a whole, especially offensively. That's what they're lacking right now. But the addition of Flanigan and, we don't, I think, have official word on the severity of Chris Moore's injury, like in terms of how long he'll be out. But maybe with more minutes and more opportunity, maybe that's what he needs, because he kind of seems like a microwave. And once he gets going, he's hard to slow down.
Chiming in real quick about Chris Moore before I'll let you guys open up, because I'm in the same boat. I'm actually just going to retweet, and this is such a lazy excuse, but Crews, you pretty much covered it for me. It's an encouraging pump the brakes. He's going to have to step up. But to the Chris Moore conversation, I've not heard any official word. Allen Flanigan's probably going to be able to get more minutes. Probably going to start the next handful of games. We'll talk about it later. But I'm kind of with you. I'm not ready to say back quite yet. I'm interested, Daniel. Just one more game is all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah, and okay, but since he'll likely,
I'm not judging.
No,
I'm
yeah,
not judging.
Since he'll likely be starting, I feel like I might need a little bit more now. If he
That's
has
fair.
to start, let me say this: if he starts the next 2 or 3 games, that's Mississippi State at home, LSU on the road, South Carolina on the road.
Right.
So that's 3 teams. 1 is good. LSU is a good basketball team. 2 are
Maybe.
meh. Yeah. So 1 probably good, 2 probably meh. If he gives me 15 a night and a couple assists and a couple rebounds in each one, I'll say it. I'll say he's back.
I'll start having the conversation. So I'm with you. Transitioning over from Flanigan, who obviously played a huge role last night. I mean, just looking at the box, man, the point value speaks for itself. Flan had 15 last night. Janai Broom. We'll talk about Wendell here shortly, and Crews. I'm gonna kind of let you wide open. I know you mentioned specifically you want to talk about the impact of Janai Broom. I did want to speak for just a half a second here, if that's okay, about basically all I want to say, and I said this on the Auburn Daily podcast earlier today, Dylan, the importance of the level of play that Janai Broom is at right now cannot be overstated. He is finally the Janai Broom, I think, that we thought he could be coming from Morehead State. So Crews, I'm going to let you open the floor. I know that you said you had a great metaphor, and I'm ready for it. So
okay, well, don't hype me up too much. It could be a stretch, but yeah, going back just a little bit before we start into my super creative, illustrious metaphor that I worked all day on. When Broom announced his transfer and was set to come, I was on another podcast and they just asked me for a couple hot takes about Auburn basketball, and I said Janai Broom will be better than Walker Kessler. And that was based off just a little bit more of a well-rounded offensive game and similar production on the defensive end, right? Because, I mean, he was one of the top shot blockers in the country last year as well. And, I've backpedaled on that a little bit because he has had some hit or miss games, but mostly hit, right? He's been probably Auburn's most consistent player, almost definitely, right? Bar
it's him or Jalen Williams. There you go.
Yep. Yeah, but in terms of the impact, he's making a great one. So I think Janai Broom, I have a new nickname for Janai. And before I say that, I can't wait, and I'm sure I'm not the only one with this thought, but until Auburn beats an SEC opponent home and away, and I can use the headline, Broom lifts Auburn to sweep over blank. And I've been banking that one for months now since he announced he was coming to Auburn.
You better cross your fingers though, because I think there's only one team that's you're capable of sweeping this year.
Alabama, right? Of course.
Sure, I was thinking maybe like Ole Miss, but like yeah, go on, carry on.
Yeah. But anyways, I think Janai Broom's new nickname should be the Street Sweeper.
I'm listening.
Okay, and not just because the play on a broom and sweeping, which is obvious and great, but so Will Green and Broom were the central engineers in Auburn's win against Arkansas, right? They played the in and out game really perfectly, and Broom became the first Tiger to post 4 straight double-doubles since 2015.
Simeon Bowers, baby.
Yeah, baby. Do not let the legend die. But the Street Sweeper nickname comes from mainly his ability to to clean up things defensively on the defensive end, and then but moreover, where it really finds its niche is the way that he impacts the game offensively without commanding too much attention. I think me and Daniel were talking earlier that like you cannot be super locked into the game and be like, where's Janai, where's Broom? But then you look up and he has 16 points and 10 rebounds and 4 blocks, right? And so just in the way that like no one has ever seen a street sweeper or pays any attention to them, that can happen with Janai Broom, but they're always there to get the job done. And it's an important job.
I love this. I'm sold. Dylan, you and I were talking about that the other 2 days ago last episode on the podcast about how Janai is one of those guys where you're just like, wow, he has done nothing tonight. And then the ticker runs across the bottom. It's like Janai Broom, 18 points. Like, what the like, where did this come from? I think that's a great point. I'm sorry to cut you off, Chris.
No, you're good. I'm done. I mean, he's just so skilled. He's so fluid, and he does have kind of a limited bag. So I do worry about the scouting report catching up to him a little bit in terms of always wanting to go left. But to this point, it hasn't mattered. Like he could finish over anyone, and he gets to where he wants to go. And with Wendell Green running the offense and getting the ball to him, he looks great. And you can't really ask for more from him at this point in the season.
I guess I'm gonna build off this, Dylan. I'm gonna flip over to the Mississippi State preview as we kind of transition and keep moving forward. Because we could talk Auburn hoops all day long as you let me, and I won't shut up. I'm gonna start with Daniel here. Daniel, if you had a chance, and if not, you're welcome to defer if you wanted to get somebody else's input first on the Mississippi State matchup, and you can kind of talk to a point where this is actually another opportunity for Janai Broom to kind of dominate down low, right?
Yeah.
Considering outside of forward play, I mean, if you take away a handful of guys, namely Tolu Smith from Mississippi State, I don't think they're that good. I think they struggle to get the ball inside, period. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on how Auburn matches up, starting from wherever you want, Daniel, against Mississippi State.
Sure. So like you kind of said, it's all about a little bit of guard and a lot of forward play. Their front court is one of the worst I've seen an SEC basketball team have. Just watching the Alabama game, Brandon Miller, Grant, he's probably going to be a lottery pick. He's
About to say that's a tough one.
Basketball player, but he just went straight through, and they didn't have any sort of answer for him. No way to slow him down. So this team is full of slashers. This Auburn team, that is. So I don't think they're going to have a problem in the world getting to the basket, inevitably drawing fouls. If Auburn hits their free throws, they'll cover easily.
Okay. I'm Dylan, you want to build on that or highlight? You have a keynote player Daniel, do you have a keynote player to look out for a big game?
I guess we'll just keep the Flanigan conversation going. It's looking like he'll be in the starting lineup, so I'll just say him.
I'll probably wind up echoing that here in a second. Dylan, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Oh, also, I'm sorry, KD. I want to see KD have a bounce back game.
Yeah,
we've all been wanting Katie to have a bounce back game.
I also kind of want Katie in a straight jacket right now.
Yeah, I'm making a graphic tonight of him in a straight jacket.
Yeah.
The player to watch for is Janai Broom, because this time you want to watch him score all 20 of those points he's going to score against Mississippi State, plus the 20 rebounds that he's going to have against Mississippi State, because I don't think anybody on this Mississippi State team is going to be able to stop Janai Broom, especially if Wendell Green has another 7+ assist performance again. Just giving it to Janai, let him eat. I mean, it's kind of hard to stop Janai Broom. I don't know of a team that we're playing until, I don't know, Alabama or they could really stop Janai Broom.
No one can stop him.
No one can, but
I think Tennessee will contain him.
Yeah.
Keep him at bay. But I'm with you on that point. Crews, you have a standout player to look out for this weekend that you're kind of expecting a big game out
of? In terms of like highlighting a single individual, I mean, I haven't dug too much into, the individual matchups, so I don't want to quite go there, but I just think, there's an overarching kind of story that I think got resolved to an extent against Ole Miss, and it was this big question with Auburn after losing Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler, like who's the alpha, who's the guy who steps up, who leads this team to greater things, and I think the answer is that there's not one person. I think it's the trio of Wendell Green Jr., Allen Flanigan, and Janai Broom. And this team will go as they go. I mean, you're going to get solid production from Jalen Williams, Cardwell, Chris Moore winning if he's back. Hopefully, KD Johnson, splices in some of those exciting performances that we've seen from him. We know he's capable of, right? And then, just in general, looking forward to this game and others, especially if Chris Moore misses time, is the opportunity for the young guys. That's kind of a big weakness for Auburn. I think a big disappointment. One of the biggest disappointments so far this season is the lack of impact from Traore and Chance Westry, who's practically been in the doghouse, it seems, for the last couple.
Oh, he is. He is absolutely in the doghouse.
Yeah.
And, but I'll be honest, he kind of put himself there.
No doubt. He has not played well. Trey Donaldson's probably played the best out of the three, and he's earned his minutes. But to me, those young players, kind of similar to like Flanigan, they need to get in a rhythm. They can't just be thrown in and said, "Hey, go do this, go execute." And maybe he's not 100% comfortable with the system yet. I don't know, him and Trey or. But if those guys can get a little more minutes and get confident before the later season runs around and March comes around, then maybe that can help everything. And the last thing I'll say is that regardless of who Auburn plays, I think they can compete, right? I think they're a good team. I don't think they're great by any means. I don't even know if they have the potential to be great. But the key to maybe raising that ceiling will be three-point shooting. And maybe Westry or Traore or Donaldson, more minutes for those guys. Or maybe Flanigan just proving with one more game, as Daniel needs, that he can be consistent from shooting the ball will really raise the Tiger ceiling.
I don't disagree. I personally, I know that you left my man out of the big three here, and that's okay. But Jalen Williams.
I love Jalen. I love Jalen. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that. I love Jalen. He's just limited a little bit.
He's also not a vocal leader on the court. And there's something to be said for that. But I think the consistency from Jalen Williams, which, like I said, he may be, like we said earlier, maybe the most consistent player on this team, next to maybe Janai Broome. I think that consistent scoring and specifically the forward matchup that Daniel talked about going up against Mississippi State this weekend. I think that's an opportunity for him to prove that he's simply just better than a lot of people think that he is. So I would be very interested to keep an eye on him. Moving on from basketball to other things you should probably keep your eye on. Just quick touching base on Auburn Gymnastics. In case you guys did not know, Suni Lee is extremely good at what she does. We've got Suni checked in at the SEC Gymnast of the Week, which I feel like it's just like they should just name it the Suni Lee SEC Gymnast of the Week award at this point, because she's just cut like that. Number 1 in the country on beam, obviously. Number 6 on bar, and then number 1 in the all around because, like I said, she's just different. Auburn's ranked number 5 in the NCAA team rankings. Tigers are must-see TV this year, guys. They'll take on number 2 Florida next week. I just wanted to kind of plug that for a second because I really think, and we talked about this as soon as the preview meet came by, and obviously this past week, and their quad meet. I really think Auburn's got a good chance to be national champions this year as a team, not just as an individual. And I you can't convince me that's not why Suni Lee didn't forego the rest of college. She definitely, there's nothing else to prove at the collegiate level, right? For her, she's done it. All she wants to do is go win a team title.
I mean, once you win a gold medal in the Olympics, you don't really need to prove.
Doesn't matter. Like
you're already just means you're already the best in the world. I mean, national championship just means she gets a statue in front of Neville Arena. Pretty much. You're probably right. Actually, that'd be hard. Can we get a team statue actually with like Darion in the background doing the crown? That'd be hard. That'd be sick.
I've seen team statues one place, and it's Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana, for IU basketball, and they're really cool.
Okay, I'm super about it. I forgot you're kind of an Indiana guy, kind of a Hoosier. Okay, I was like, that's an obscure place for you to have seen that.
Do you know Heps Rock?
Do what?
You know about Heps Rock?
No.
Not a true Hoosier.
I don't know where this is going, and this podcast is off the rails. So I'm going to redirect back to Auburn football.
Sure.
And I'm going to turn the reins over to Dylan to facilitate this. I'm our basketball point guard. Dylan plays QB for our quarterback and our football conversation. So I'm going to let you take the reins here, Dill, and I'll shut up for the rest of the show.
Let's see. Auburn picked up yet another offensive line commit, the 9th overall one we've gotten. Interior offensive line, Avery Jones from ECU. He did commit to Illinois in December, but he has decided that he'd rather compete for conference titles. So he decided to flip to Auburn. And there's one former Arkansas head coach that's not very happy with Auburn right now because he's not very happy with the NIL and that you can make more money by playing for Auburn.
Just don't be poor. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and this guy, I think he's one of the best linemen in the recruiting portal. And he can play guard or center. So I know we're going to get to the Connor Lew discussion a little bit, but I think we can see a world where from left to right, the O-line goes as followed. Got Gunnar Britton at left tackle. Left guard is either going to be Jeremiah Wright, who's going to be the only remaining player from last year's team that probably still could be contending for the starting role, or Avery Jones gets the left guard spot. Center is either going to be, again, Avery Jones or Connor Lew. Then right guard is Xavion Miller, right tackle Dylan Wade, which I think that's one heck of an improvement of an O-line in a month.
Well, I could name 4 players on the offensive line now, so that's a start.
It helps when you're sleeping and breathing, recruiting.
Well, it also helps when I'm not wanting to bang my head into a wall watching these guys tape. Crews,
I feel like that could be a top 5 unit.
Oh yeah,
in the conference,
in Auburn history.
Sure.
I didn't know we were drinking on the podcast today. No, I mean, it's potential to be very good. Crews, is it not refreshing to actually look and be like, oh my gosh, we might be able to actually pass block next year?
Yeah, man. I mean, like Dylan said, like literally 4 out of the 5 spots look like they could be new guys on the offensive line next year. And in terms of the overall roster, I mean, you only have 63 guys on a college football roster, and the early National Signing Day, the recruiting class, and the transfers combined, we're almost up to like half of that in new players for Auburn. We might even eclipse it at this point. So that alone is just exciting and refreshing. And the point that Freeze and the staff seem to want to prove about no days off, it seems. I mean, like, most people take a respite over the holidays with Christmas and New Year's, but I mean, just looking at the results of the guys coming in, these guys haven't taken a break since they've come in. And I mean, that goes all the way back to, having a good performance in early National Signing Day. So it's definitely getting things going and exciting on the Plains.
I couldn't believe that anyone disagreed with me when I tweeted out after National Signing Day that the work that Freeze and company did in such a short turnaround was nothing short of remarkable. Someone told me that was a quote overreaction. And I'm telling you, people on the Bird app are absurd, and I love you people, and thank you for following me, because God knows I need the free entertainment.
Was it an Ole Miss fan by chance?
I'm not going, Dylan.
I like poking the land shark a little bit.
Dylan, I don't.
Or sorry, the black bear or the rebel, whatever they are now.
I'll tell you this: for the first time since I've been on the beat, I blocked multiple people that cover other teams within the SEC on the Bird app, and I don't typically do that. I've still blocked more Auburn fans than I have other people that cover other teams, but
that's because you're banning words from your Twitter feed.
Yeah, I did ban Stetson Bennett, UGA, Bulldogs, and back-to-back from my Twitter.
But I did some stat reading for like transfer portal recruits. By the way, Auburn is 3rd on the 24/7.
Well, got passed by SMU.
Got passed by SMU.
On 3. Rhett Lashley's out recruiting Hugh Freeze. Fire Freeze.
Yeah, let's not do that. But from what I read or what I found, hopefully it's not changed since yesterday when I made this. Auburn is the only SEC team to have brought in more players than lost from the transfer portal. And just going through like the top 3 in the 24/7 rankings, LSU, well, now it's Auburn. LSU has brought in 8, have lost 15, and go to Kentucky right behind us, have brought in 7, lost 13. Auburn has brought in 11 and lost 10.
Net 1.
And it is 10-10, but they're counting like Havius Walker, so I'm going to count him as well.
So, Dylan, can you explain for the people who aren't as plugged into the recruiting how Auburn went from 22 to 3 in one day?
You just bring in a lot of 4 stars. I think Avery Jones was a huge commit, and he Auburn jumped up so high just from doing that, and my dogs are growling. What is
It
going
also
on?
helps when your recruiting websites actually update the big boards. That helps a lot. After the weekend that Auburn had, I mean, holy crap, guys! The recruiting on Sunday and Saturday, for that matter, forget our weekend still, and no relaxation for us.
It's also
Yeah,
worth noting. Oh,
no, go ahead. You got it.
It's also worth noting that teams like A&M have lost 27 players and have brought in 3. Florida has lost 23 and brought in 5. Alabama's lost 15 players and only has brought in 1 transfer.
Yeah, for some reason, I think they'll be okay. I don't know what's making me feel that way, but I think Alabama, out of all of those, will probably be all right. And let's not forget, Georgia's about to have some hit the portal. That'll happen here shortly. It happens everywhere. I mean, it's inevitable, but you're not going to leave the roster when you go get your ring. So
Jermaine Burton.
facts. No, literally facts.
Wonder how he's doing.
Yeah, I don't. Anyways, let's transfer over.
Wait. Before we move on, I have another metaphor that I would like to share with you guys. All right.
Please enlighten us.
Okay. All right. So guys, look, I just want you to keep an open mind, right? But this one's a little more contrived than the Janai broom. You have to connect a few more dots. But look at the upcoming 2023 football season for Auburn football as a concert. Not like your favorite band, not like you're going to see your favorite band, but maybe like a new band that you're just starting to like their music, right? And let's say that the early national signing day was kind of the start of the new season, because Auburn didn't have a bowl game, unfortunately, or fortunately for some people. And so the early national signing day to me is like the commute to the concert, right? So
Okay.
a commute to the concert, what's everybody doing? You're happy-go-lucky. You're singing songs that you think you might hear the artist perform at the venue. And it's all very exciting, and it's glitz and glamour, and it's all looking forward to the future, right? So for a college football program like Auburn trying to compete at a national level, the feeling is similar. On the early national signing day, everyone's wide-eyed and optimistic. The program's signing highly coveted players or listening to, their favorite songs and looking towards the future. And so now, as players have just started to early enroll, and spring practice is going to come along eventually. So you can call the spring period the opening act, right? There's always an opener for the main card, right? So you get there, and it's all good vibes. The concert goers are picking up some new songs from maybe a band or an artist that they'd never heard before, and they're just speculating really about what songs are going to be played by the main card, by the main artist that you paid for, right? And so that's kind of where Auburn is right now, right? We're getting all these new players from the transfer portal. We're thinking about who can start on the offensive line, what's the quarterback room going to look like, all these different things. And that'll just kind of continue building up the momentum through the spring, I think, because nothing really can go wrong at this point in the season. And so in theory, the 2023 Auburn season is like the final act, the main card, the price of admission that makes it worth it, right? But here it's kind of a catch-22. Therein lies the problem, right? Because the main card's supposed to be the biggest and greatest and most awesome spectacle there is, right? But with the state of Auburn that was left behind by, the other coach, Brian Harsin.
Potato.
Yeah, sure, that's a good nickname for him. We'll just refer to him as Potato. The script, or the set list perhaps, may not turn out exactly as planned in 2023, right? And Freeze and his staff will need time and patience to rebuild this team and get Auburn back to competing at the top of the SEC. So regardless of how the final act performs, maybe you don't like that band as much as you thought you did. Maybe Auburn's 2023 season isn't amazing. Maybe they don't go win 9-10 games and surprise everybody. Maybe they scrape their way into a bowl game. But I just think it's important that everyone, stop for a minute, reflect, and enjoy the commute and enjoy the opener and realize what a good time they're having right now.
No better band to open with than UMass.
Exactly, right?
Dylan, we were going to talk Spencer Sanders. We can't top that. So, Cruz, why don't you go ahead and tell us where everybody can find you, find your work, give you love, and shout you out.
Yeah, man, if you want more contrived metaphors and more fun stuff and more good content, you can find me on Twitter at sports_Crews, Crews. That's my name. And you can find me on the Observer. That's where I work. It's a local newspaper. Just Google the Observer, Wil Crews. And I'm around other places too. So just keep an eye out, and I appreciate you guys letting me come on. I hope I can come on in the future. I hope I didn't talk too much. I hope I didn't bore you.
You're
with
welcome
my
back
metaphors.
anytime, man. Anytime.
But thank you, viewers, listeners. I hope I provided something worth listening to today.
Provided something for me to listen to today. I enjoyed the hell out of that. So we appreciate you. You're welcome back on. We'll bug you until you get back on. Daniel, plug yourself. Dylan, plug yourself, or I'll plug myself after Daniel, and then Dylan, you get us out of here. What do you think?
At Daniel J. Locke on Twitter, right for Eagle Eye, right for Weagle. And now, a little bit of a big announcement. I kind of alluded to it earlier. Today, I had my first day at my new internship at the Opelika Observer with Mr. Crews. So I'm very excited to see where that goes.
I am Harrison Tarr, formerly of the Opelika Observer, actually, formerly of Weagle, formerly of Eagle Eye TV, currently of the Auburn Daily, Sports Illustrated extension of Auburn sports coverage. And obviously here, the College Loop, my handle is @by Harrison Tarr, like you're looking at a byline. So check me out on Twitter. Everything else is the same for all my social platforms. Dylan, get us out of here.
All right. And I am Dylan Larck at You Boy the Tank on Twitter. Follow the TikTok. It's popping off as of late. So that's at the College Loop on literally everything. And with that, it's been the College Loop Podcast.